Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and my coin factory family? We're back again with another daily Casper and crypto live stream, and we have quite a massive bunch of information to cover in today's stream. Of course, we're currently in the countdown of 10 BPS. I've been seeing a lot of people testing out, which is very cool to see, testing out on testnet 10, the 10 BPS, which is going to be fully activated tomorrow. We'll get into that in a moment. Alongside the Crypto Expo EU, we've got some updates regarding that as well. Listening to some of the videos that popped up at this event, which was very insightful, very interesting, and also gives a little bit of an insight into the exchanges and their sort of mentality and what they're listing and when they're going to list them and why they're listing, if you will. We've got some other macro updates, regarding, the current tariff news. Also, there's something that I'm making a video on right now, and the video basically goes into talk about the potential of this being our last bull cycle, which will be explained in greater detail in the video I'm releasing later today, which therefore leads you to believe that this could be your last chance to buy Casper. You hear it quite often. I'm not saying that Casper is going to rally up straight away in the next few weeks. Time will tell. But this could be the last time Casper remains this dirt cheap, because when we start rallying, which I believe will happen in the cycle, if it does come back down, it may not be very much at all. But I'll explain why in this stream, and also more so in detail in the video later on. But as always, if you enjoy these daily live streams, feel free to leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. I do apologise, I streamed a lot earlier today than necessary, but at the same time, unfortunately, I'm busy later today, and I thought better off still getting some content out for you all, as opposed to just not appearing at all, because I still want to try and provide you all with your daily FOMO. So welcome back everyone to the stream. Clayton Green, you are the first comment, my man. Welcome back. Having a very good day. Go Casper, you know it, my man. Massimo, I really have a serious question for you. Do you really still see a chance that we could see a 50 cent to $1 this year? Because at the moment, it's very hard to believe for me. Understand the belief, my man. I do. And the short answer is yes. I think we can still reach that quite comfortably, to be honest, and not even surpass that. And I'll kind of get into all of the reasons why in this stream of what's coming. Sort of, it's not just a factor of, looking solely at Casper. Because if you're looking solely at Casper, and then, it's a matter of perspective, the way I'm going to kind of, lay it out. Because Casper, right now, currently around, $2 billion market cap, or 1.9 now, has come down below $2 billion market cap. So it does look quite dire in that regard. 73.6 million, 24-hour trading volume is not the best. So I understand the cause of concern, to say the very least. But at the same time, when you consider the updates coming through, and you consider the institutional adoption, two very important factors that can relate to each other. Also, Casper adoption in itself is getting more recognition, it is growing. Then I think Casper can surprise a lot of people and surpass expectations in the cycle. But of course, time will tell. I'll get to that in this stream, my man, so don't worry about it. But that being said, we're going to get into the start of the news today. So I want to start off really quickly with some of the macro news before we get into the Casper news here. So firstly, according to Watcher Guru here, China has just warned, if war is what the United States want, be it tariffs, war, trade war, any type of war, we're ready to fight till the end. Now, this is fighting talk. This can be worrying, because of course America did just increase the tariffs on Canada, or not Canada, well it did on Canada, but on China from 10 to 20%. So if Trump continues to up it more and more, we could see a full-blown trade war that could be extremely bad for financial markets. Right now, crypto is in it's kind of just being quite boring today, not really looking at much right now. Casper's currently down 2.60% on daily time frame, valued at 7.35 cents. So far, it is holding this level of support that I highlighted being a very crucial level of support for Casper, between 7.5 to 7 cents. We saw it did wick just momentarily below that earlier, but it managed to recover quite quickly and finished above the level of support at the end of the day. So far Casper's not doing, it's not all, alarm bells for me just yet. Even if it's correct down here, I replied to a comment from Casper Silver a while back. You look at Cardano, you look at Litecoin, you look at Chainlink, you look at Tau, all these projects that have little to no FUD around them, yet these projects, all of them are down 60-70% as well. So Casper right now is in the same bracket as these projects in regards to correction from all-time highs. The only difference is we're in a Casper community, therefore we want Casper to do well, and Casper gave everyone a very unrealistic expectation because of how much it pumped in a bear cycle. So everyone thought it was going to be, a $10, $20 asset this cycle, which is, I mean, anything's possible, but it's extremely unlikely, and it always was. But yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, Casper again is doing okay. The news about this could be causing some FUD, but at the same time, as I did highlight to members who are part of the executive community here, we had some very important macro news regarding the PMI, regarding the PMI, the ISM service data that came out today, which actually was better than expected, which is a very bullish sign. Of course, if you want to know more about that, come join for free, 7-day free trial. Check out the Coin Factory executive community, links in the description to also my homepage. But ultimately right now, while I do personally believe downside is still possible for crypto and Casper, right now, I think the FUD has been alleviated a little bit. And equally, the outlook for the market going forward is, I think it is going to surpass my expectations as well. And I'll get into that in a moment. In continuation, the current market sentiment here, this post that I was put in my community, shout out to Nee, I believe it was. Amit here, who's very, very, very well known in the sort of space, 162,000 followers, made a post about why Donald Trump wants the market to crash. A very theoretical and, logical thought process, if you ask me. In short term, this chart below sums the reasonings behind what the current administration is doing and why it is having adverse effects on the market. This chart right here. We're going to explain this chart in a moment. Ultimately here, Chris Patel did a great job today explaining this more in depth on the market open, and I think the thesis checks out. Currently, America have $7 trillion of debt that they need to pay off in the next 6 months. They need to pay it off very, very soon, and if we don't, we will have to refinance it again. But Trump's admin does not want to refinance, especially at over a 4% rate. The 10-year at one point this year was 4.8. It is very, very high. So they'll have to be refinancing at a higher rate, meaning they're going to be losing even more money, therefore giving even more debt to themselves. It's not ideal for them. How do you get the 10-year to come down? Markets need to show weakness in growth, which the Department of Government Efficiency has to be perceived as actually working. Interest rates are coming down. The way to do that is to create massive uncertainties, aka tariffs. So the theory is that these tariffs are by design, which I could almost attest to here, because we can see here from the US Secretary of Commerce, apparently Trump may roll back tariffs on Canada and Mexico tomorrow. So Trump went from implementing tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China, then Canada and Mexico came to some form of agreement with Trump and they halted it for a month. Now he's activated them again and let them go forward, and put an extra 10% on China and even 25% to be coming through with Europe soon enough. And now apparently he's announcing he may roll them back, meaning he may reduce them or just take them away again. He is purposely right now seemingly causing uncertainty in the market, which is going to cause more volatility and more corrections in the cycle as well, at least for the time being, the short term. So the way to get the 10 years to come down, the inflation to come down, this massive percentage here, is to create massive uncertainties, aka tariffs, which can slow down growth in the short term. Get the bond market to start buying bonds ASAP because of how scared they are of touching stocks. He's trying to get the dollar to rally up, the bonds and dollar to rally up higher and higher and higher, because they're trying to say, if you have as I mentioned yesterday, the biggest reason for markets to correct and correct heavily is not bad news. It's uncertain news. Bad news will cause corrections, of course, but it's uncertain news. When you don't actually know what's going to happen, that's what's caused the market to correct much, much worse. And that's what's happening right now. Because who's going to buy stocks and crypto when you're seeing so much volatility? I mean, Bitcoin right now, we saw it over the weekend, jump up 10% in value from 86k up to 94k, 10% of value, and then correct all that value again the very next day. That is excessive, to say the least. That is ridiculous. And that's Bitcoin as well. That's the biggest cryptocurrency by market cap, the least volatile out of the whole list of assets, the thousands that are out there. So you start then seeing people buying bonds instead because crypto stocks is more risky, causing yields to fall, which is what we need to refinance the debt, and then that gives the Fed the authority to lower rates, which continues to bring yields down. Remember, the Treasury, Scott Bessent, I think Treasury Secretary, he stated that we are adamant on bringing interest rates down. That is inevitable. We covered that also in my stream yesterday. It's going to happen. And what's happening in the market right now with inflation, coming down a little bit and growth being, stifled or restricted, purposely orchestrated seemingly, you have to lower rates to bring more liquidity back into the economy to stop the stifling growth, and it won't affect the interest rates too much because it's already not too bad. So although conventional wisdom says tariffs are inflationary and the 10 years should be spiking on more tariffs, it's actually going down because it's bringing so much uncertainty to equity markets that people are selling stocks and buying bonds and crypto as well, seemingly. So maybe it's what Trump wants to happen right now. He wants to be able to get these bonds, or get these, when you have to refinance the debt because he can't pay it off in time, he wants to be able to get it at such a lower price that it's not going to affect them in the long term. That's a theory, and I think a logical theory at that, for why we're currently seeing a lot of uncertainty, and that would also therefore lead to a later cycle top. Trump still evidently wants crypto to do well. You've got a crypto reserve coming out for Bitcoin reserve and crypto reserve coming out. You're having crypto summits happening on Friday and much more very bullish news. But right now, the macro news is a lot of uncertainty. Called the crypto to dump, but I think we'll see a later cycle top as it stands right now. Again, we see Trump apparently going to reveal his Bitcoin reserve strategy at the White House Crypto Summit this Friday, according to Commerce Secretary again. So the bullish news is still here. It's the uncertainty that's causing your market fluctuations, and also institutional manipulation and adoption and that sort of stuff as well. But I'm not worried regardless. I'm still not worried. And there is something I'm going to talk about that as well. I'm going to get into a little bit in a moment about this potentially being the last bull cycle, which I'm going to make a video in detail about later. So go check out my channel later on when I'll be uploading that. But it covers a little bit regarding this interview here. And this interview that we've already heard here, I'm sure many of them from Jack Mallers, who spoke about, ultimately about the reserve idea. And much, much more, of course. But I'll answer the question real quickly first and get into some Casper news beforehand. What's up, Noob Gaming? Casper is dumping. Yes, the market is dumping. Casper is following the market. I mean, some assets right now, like Bitcoin's doing okay, but for the most part, assets are just very, very volatile right now. Sui is down to 2.4, and it was up at 5.8 about 2-3 months ago. Casper is down to 0.73 right now. But right now, everything's down massively because it's more downside as well. But I'm still not worried right now. I have no reason to be. For all the big updates coming for Casper, I'm going to get into in a moment. I have no reason to be worried about Casper at all right now. What's up, Greg, my man? What's up, QC? Early stream? Yes, you know it. Sometimes I do prefer doing these early streams. Today was because I have no choice. I'm meant to be doing something with family later. So I had to do it earlier. I was meant to do it I'm meant to go live at past. So around now, I have to go live. But actually, I've got to leave bang on in an hour's time. So I had to start the stream 10 minutes earlier than intended as well. But yeah, make sure I still get the daily content out right now. And also, Mr. Mars not here, so inshallah. Andy A, what's up, my man? Minus 70%. Yes, right now, Casper is definitely edging close to that zone of minus 70% right now. I think it's minus 62, 65%. So it's definitely getting close. But again, as you look at the likes of Tau, for example, from its all-time high, which is up here, Tau similarly is currently experiencing a 63% correction in value. You look at ADA. I know you're not bearish on Casper at all, Andy. I'm just highlighting for the others in the chat. You look at Cardano, you look at Litecoin, you look at Chain, look at all the other assets right now. Even after Cardano had a nice spike following the confirmation of it being in the reserve, it still is down about 63, 64, 68%. So, Casper in that regard is just it's just kind of swimming along with the other assets right now into the correction from all-time highs. And Casper, for me, is going to surpass that and then when it reaches its, price discovery area, it's going to go much more volatile based on the incoming catalyst. That's my belief, again, not financial advice. What's up, Buffalo Theory? Welcome back to the man. You're doing very, very well. And you too, DD. Hello, QC. Massive, I still believe over $5 is clearly possible. You just have to wait another 2-3 months at the beginning of June. It will be epic. Maybe July, but Casper will go back up before I bet a lot on it. I mean, again, time will tell. Time will tell. I do think Casper will do very, very well. My conviction in $5 Casper is it being possible still there, although those who have been following me for a while know my predictions are a bit more conservative than that. But yeah, I do think what's coming out for Casper, and equally what I'm going to cover in a moment regarding institutional adoption and the potentially being the last bull cycle, supports the theory that, you know, when Casper does reach whatever its peak may be this cycle, it may not come down too heavily either and just keep running from there. But time will tell, of course. We'll get into that in a moment. Like me, like me, you have been waiting for a long time, but patience will pay off for all of us. I completely agree as well. What's up, Art Zero? How are you doing? Very well, man. Are you ready to stop being like CG and say Casper $2? CG says $10. I don't think $2 is remotely the same. You're comparing a 100 bill. You're comparing a 50 bill market cap to a 250 bill market cap. It's 5 times higher. Unrealistic for prediction attracts dumb retail, and when they see the chart, they just add to the snowball effect. They just start dumping. I mean, I did state about a stream or about 5 or 6 streams back that I'm stopping to talk about price and predictions. You know, I just state that Casper could do very well from here. I don't want to start giving out price. If someone asks me, can it reach there? I'll say yes or no, depending on my belief. In terms of comparison to CG, I mean, sure, I guess. I have faith that Casper will do very well this cycle. I think the comparison is not completely fair, considering that his predictions are seemingly a lot more moonboy than mine are. But I mean, it's what it is. End of the day, I do agree with your statement, though, that unrealistic price predictions can attract less informed retailers. I do agree with that. But that's why I try to keep my predictions quite conservative. You know, I don't think 50 bill market cap for Casper is that excessive. That's just what I stated in the past, though. But again, me talking on prices, I'm trying to stop doing it now, because I think that's also part of the problem with the Casper community as well. They're so hell-bent on saying, can we reach this price? While, of course, we want to know what price we can reach, because that is ultimately why we invest, it's also damaging the community, because everyone's so focused now on... Everyone right now in this space becomes so focused on the price. They're forgetting the fundamentals that's going to bring Casper so much more value, just continuously, you know? This cycle included, and cycles to follow as well. So that's currently what I'm trying to do, at least. Clayton saying everyone should take this downtime as a gift. Casper ascension is inevitable. Just keep accumulating. Completely agree as well. I'm very bearish on Casper. I'm sure you are, Andy. I know you are. I was a little late. Can you expand more on this last bull market? Don't worry, Buffalo Theory. I've not actually got even into it yet. I'm about to get into it in a moment. I just basically covered the current tariff news and the speculation that Trump is doing this purposely to basically not have to basically get out of having to refinance at a higher percent rate. What's up, Coin Sensei? Hope you're doing very well, man. I like your streams. You are here, green or red day, my man. Hey, that's the goal. I'm trying to pay every single day regardless, you know. I'm going to keep here talking about crypto and Casper, predominantly Casper, but I'm sure some of you have already seen from my channel. I'm starting to expand a little bit, talk about other assets. Not saying that I'm bullish on them or bearish on them, I'm just covering other assets right now. But fundamentally speaking, Casper's my biggest holding, and it's going to continue to be so because I do believe in Casper very much, and we're going to go in this cycle and cycles to follow. I think it's a very good investment. We'll see, but I have a friend who makes fun of me. We'll see at the end. But I'll be happy to call him back 5 years. So will I, 100%. Well, 4 never sold one single Casper is almost third. This will be why Diamond Hands will always win over Paper Hands. True. Completely true. Diamond Hands, those who have conviction of what they're holding, will always win. Especially if they're holding the Diamond project. It's Casper Diamond or Dust for me. It's a biggest diamond coming. It's barely been dug out just yet. What's up, Nico? Hope you're doing very well, my man. Welcome back to the stream. Now, in that regard, I'll quickly get into what Buffalo Theory was hoping to see a little bit about this last bull market. I'm going to make a video on it later, so you're hearing a much more structured format there. But ultimately, it comes back to this post here. Now, obviously, Trump, he's now talking about implementing a Bitcoin, but also a US crypto strategic reserve, right? For a bit of information, as you should be aware. In fact, you know what? Before I get into that, let's listen to this interview here, right? This interview is from XRP advocate and lawyer of the people, if you will, John Deaton. Now, he says a lot about XRP here, about the lawsuit conclusion and whatnot. Now, while I think it's, you know, I think there's relevance in it, and I think it's important, and I think he's justified in saying what he's saying. I think he's right in regards as well, but that's not what's important. What's important for me here is the last, I think it's 30 or so seconds, and around there, where John Deaton and the news anchors on Fox Business start joking about the reserve and the fluctuations of the assets, if you will. So listen very closely right now, and we'll get into it a little bit more in a moment.
Some people believe it will.
No, a lot of people try to call it a risk-off asset, but let's be honest, it's a risk-on asset.
It's the most risky asset. Where was it down? It was up the other day. How much?
94,000 after this.
And then it came down. Didn't it go down as much as it went up?
Yes, Bitcoin has a history of going down 40%, 50%, 60%, even in these cycles.
In these cycles?
Yes.
And so we're going to put that in a reserve.
Well, XRP's up, at least.
See, that for me leads on to everything that I have been believing and talking about, touching on little bits here and there. Actually, speaking of which, there is institutional research documents and papers in this community here, the executive community here, that provided to these people here, where they have seen basically similar things confirmed or theorized by institutional investors as well, that this could be the last bull cycle. This interview here from John Deaton and the news anchors of Fox Business are basically highlighting that you've got Bitcoin, you've got Bitcoin in of itself that has seen 40, 50, 60% corrections. And that's during the bullish part of the cycle. I mean, look at here. So far, we are down. Are we seeing it come down 30%? That is Casper. Bitcoin even. Bitcoin coming down 30% already. And this is definitely a bull cycle now. We're in a bear trap. It's still a bull cycle. This here, you could argue, was not a bull cycle in 2024. But even here, if you want to say that was still a 30% correction. And even you take the last cycle, which definitely was a bull cycle. Last cycle here, we saw Bitcoin come down 55%. So in the volatile times of crypto, in the times where you're meant to be making the money, we've seen heavy correction in the price of Bitcoin. Heavy ones. And that's Bitcoin, the biggest asset, the biggest market cap, the least volatile out of all of them. And now you've got Trump adding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and 3 others, XRP, Cardano, and Solana, which are smaller and all more volatile. XRP, you could argue, because XRP has been stable for ages because of the lawsuit. But you've got all the assets that are, smaller and more volatile that could be added to this reserve as well. Having such a volatile reserve is not ideal. The whole point of a reserve is similar to gold, which is kind of what I spoke about here from Jack Mallers. The way you have gold or your corn or aluminium, these are assets that you can have in a reserve because they're no pre-mines, so it's completely fair for one. But easily, just think about gold. Gold just continues to appreciate over time, going up and up and up. It's not volatile either. Bitcoin in and of itself so far is still very volatile. It's an on-risk asset. Gold is not considered on-risk. Crypto is. And they're adding smaller assets underneath it as well. And there's even, speculation and seemingly confirmation and talks from Trump as well that those are just the first 5 to make the heart of the reserve. There's going to be more added in the future as well. Some believe that Casper could be at some point in the future as well, which I personally don't even want them to be. Much as it's bullish confirmation for Casper, and I see the value in doing so, I don't want them to be. I don't want the government to monopolise Casper. Why would I want that? I want to have it all for myself, obviously. Centralization is the part of the problem at the end of the day. But yeah, so the premise here is that they're joking about, these assets that are very volatile being a part of a reserve. As a reserve is meant to be, something that you can fall back on if your money goes to complete poop. You can't really fall back on. Imagine if, therefore the whole premise here is also think about the stock market. Stock market right now, there's speculation that crypto is going to translate and transform into the stock market. With stock market during a bear cycle, from bull to bear, loses about 35%. Crypto doubles that, 70-80% from bull to bear market. Stock only does 35. And then, make quite big gains in the bull cycle, which of course crypto makes arguably even more than that by quite a margin as well. Point being is, with institutions getting involved, also with the likes of tokenization being a thing. Remember, Larry Fink, the BlackRock CEO, has confirmed and stated that he's asked the SEC to allow the tokenization of stocks and bonds. So this stock market will become tokenized through blockchain, through crypto. Bonds will be tokenized. Real estate will be tokenized in this rant from Jack Mallers here. He talked about the fact that there's $900 trillion worth of stuff. That's not saying that there's $900 trillion in the world. No, it's saying in terms of actual stuff that humans own, from real estate to actual money to investments to clothing, whatever it may be, there's $900 trillion worth of stuff in the world, all over the place. And in theory, therefore, if Larry Fink, the BlackRock CEO, remember BlackRock doesn't want to lose, BlackRock never loses. In theory, if BlackRock wants everything to be tokenized, everything to go through blockchain, in theory, $900 trillion could come into the space. Now, realistically, if they're going to, no, at least not anytime in the near future. You know, we've still, the adoption's still really, really early. We haven't got tokenization in full force. We haven't got regulations just yet. So it's not happening this cycle, no way. And it's not my belief. But the premise being is you've got stupid amounts of capital that is likely going to come on chain through tokenization throughout the years, starting to happen. It's early stages happening this cycle, this year, leading for the future to come as well. Plus, you also have the understanding that these assets are going to become part of a reserve, and the last thing you want for your reserve asset is to drop 80% in value. You know, that's not a good reserve asset. That's not something that's stable. That's not safe. So the premise, therefore, and further supported from institutional documents that again I provide to the executives here, suggests that this could be the last cycle, the last chance, therefore, because crypto is going to get more adopted for institutions. It's going to keep rallying up higher and higher. And we'll probably see a correction. I'm not saying we won't get a correction. I think they'll still get one. But it may not be the typical 80%, 70% correction we normally get from bull to bear. It may only be 30. Maybe it's only 20. Maybe it's still 50. Again, we don't completely know. This is prediction, speculation. But the sources seem to suggest there's a theory in it. There's a logical thought process behind it. That this may be the last bull cycle. And as a result, therefore, this may be the last time to buy cheap Casper. Because Casper is also building a really, really innovative layer 1. As I'm going to highlight in this video here, one of many clips from the Crypto Expo event in Europe. This clip basically highlights something that we should all know, which is all the other projects in existence from Ethereum to Sui to Solana, all these projects, they have built their protocols of derivatives of Sompolinsky's work. The Ghost DAG or the Ghost or the DAG, whatever it may be, they've all built in derivatives, different projects, a slight spin-off of what Casper's already built and improved. That's improving through with 10 BPS. So ultimately, as I'm playing with more, I'm going to answer some questions real quickly as well before I play through the actual, facts or my belief. Therefore, while it seems to be good speculation and theory in my personal belief, you can disagree with me in the comments if you want to, that this may be the quote-unquote last bull cycle, and therefore we're going to see potentially still a correction, but not significant enough to where it warrants it being called a bear cycle. You may see, just for argument's sake, Casper rally to $5. Argument's sake, I'm not saying it's going to, I'm saying for argument's sake, it rallied to $5 a cycle, but it only corrects down to $3. So by you waiting, again, not financial advice, trade at discretion. I'm not a financial advisor. You do as you wish. But if you are choosing to wait for the next cycle, because you think Casper's not going to do anything this cycle, maybe it's not going to come down as far as you want. Maybe it's not going to come down to the predicted 5 cents that you want. We'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. I think Casper's still got a lot more coming in for it, and we've got a lot of business to cover as well, which I'll get into later on in the stream as well. Before I answer questions right now, and then I'm going to get into this whole segment here about Casper and the big news coming through as well. Jonathan Outdoors says, still listen streams, only check my small bag, thinking I've gone into long-term investment and staying focused on other investments as content creation and real estate, excited for Casper future. Yes, I agree, my man. And yeah, that's technically what I'm doing myself right now, you know. I'm tuning into other content as well, trying to learn more about the space ultimately and other people's, theories as well, because it helped me develop my own theories. Everything that I know and keep learning about crypto is my own take of information that I've heard, gone away and researched more into detail, and then made my own opinion on it, whether it's an agreement or a slight spin-off or such. And then with Casper, I've not looked at my Casper bag for a long time. Maybe because it'll make me cry, but I haven't looked at it in a very, very long time. Why should I? I know what I'm holding. I don't need to keep looking at my bag. I look at these charts, of course, because it's, effectively what I'm doing here, content creation. But I'm excited for the future like you are, and I do believe it'll do very, very well. So I'm looking at other investments. That's why, again, I made a video on my channel yesterday regarding another coin. I've been hearing a lot about XCN, which, diamond or dust is the title. Is it a diamond or is it a dust? We can debate about that. I see the potential in it. I'm not currently invested into it. That might change. Right now, but the market's still in a very volatile position, so I don't think it's worth me getting into any really high on risk assets just yet. If I wanted to get into something like Tau right now and feel like I don't have any more dry powder. If I had more dry powder, I wanted into Tau. I don't think that's a bad choice, my personal belief, because it's something that is not as volatile and it's also, for me, got a very bright future. Casper in particular as well. I could buy more Casper right now if I wanted to do that. That's no concern of mine at all. Equally Bitcoin, of course. But if I'm looking at the smaller assets, the VLOs and the XCNs and those ones which are seemingly in similar brackets but much, much smaller, the risk to reward is so much higher. And right now, with market uncertainty, that's not a risk I'm willing to take right now. That might change, but right now it's not there. But I think XCN, from what I've researched into it, the history behind it, I see the potential why people are bullish on it. So maybe it's a diamond, maybe it's dust again. Everyone can debate for themselves, and even just let me know in the comments below what you think if you watched it already. Casper, easy $3-4. I think it's possible, Nico, but we'll have to wait and see. What's up, Kryptoni? You're finally here. I'm here. 10 BPS, let's go. You know it. 10 BPS is moments away now. So close now. Exactly 1 day, 1 hour, 44 minutes and 2 seconds remaining until Casper Crescendo hard fork for 10 BPS and beyond plus smart contract officially begin. I mean, that will be the test net. The test net 10 BPS migration, not the mainnet one. So after that, it'll be the mainnet one. And yes, then we can start focusing more on smart contracts. That's the thing. Smart contract development and also DAGnet development still been ongoing throughout this Crescendo thing. But right now, sole focus is on Crescendo. Once Crescendo is done, the manpower and the devs can start shifting their focus, obviously, from the complete Crescendo onto the smart contract elements, which is still being progressed, or DAGnet. That's why there's a strong chance of people saying that we can get smart contract this cycle in summer, which has already been confirmed by numerous other people. Again, it can be delayed, but right now that's seemingly the timeline. And even DAGnet in like Q3, Q4 this year, which would be insane if we get DAGnet in this cycle. That will be mind blowing. That could be the catalyst that sends Casper blowing past everybody's expectations. Potentially, not financial advice. $4 Casper would make a lot of us millionaires 100%. Hello, future crypto millionaires. I hope all is well. Welcome back, Beebs. You're doing very, very well. Has your prediction on Casper changed for this year? Still aiming for $1. Is that your fair target position? As I mentioned earlier, I don't want to talk too heavily on price for Casper anymore, because I think, honestly, price is quite a... I think talk about price, especially in the current market, is quite a damaging mindset, because everyone's so whole bent on the price of Casper and crypto in general. They forget what's actually coming. They don't focus as much on the news. They focus on the fundamentals. They focus just on the price. But to give you a bland answer, my predictions have not changed, and I know you've been here for a while, so you know what predictions are, and I think that is a fair target in my opinion as well. $1. Is it fair to say that institutions have hurt the crypto bull run, or do you think they've helped? Good question, actually. Very good question. I think it's a bit of both, fundamentally, because while they have caused Bitcoin to rally to 100k, which wouldn't have happened otherwise without institutions, they are also, shaking a lot of people out of their bag, because they're causing so much uncertainty right now, Trump and institutions alike. Ultimately, if I'm thinking long-term investment, I think they've helped, because I'm holding that asset. I've got it in cold storages, and I know institutions are going to keep sending these assets higher and higher. Of course, I'll keep researching into more assets to hopefully be able to capitalize on more projects. But for example, Casper in that regard, I think it's going to keep appreciating. And I'm in now at 7.3 cents. Ridiculously cheap. Dirt cheap. Criminally cheap, if you ask me. Mainnet version released 26 days, 5 hours, 7 minutes, 11 seconds. Hard fork 1 month afterwards. Yeah, we are counting down, to say the least. You have a countdown timer. Yeah, we're literally counting down. I love it. I think I actually have the countdown timer in my my community. If I go to useful websites and scroll, where is it? Here, cas.live, right here. This is the countdown timer. So if you're a part of my, I'm pretty sure you are Buffalo Theory. If you're a part of the the Coin Factory community, you should go to the Useful Websites channel. You can find Cas.live here as well. But you can see the countdown right now. If there's a project that could rise in the bear market, it would be Casper. 100%. It's already proven as such. Do you really think Casper could reach $1? Yeah. I don't see why not. But in that regard then, as we just spoke about the potential of us not seeing a significant bear cycle, even a bear cycle in general just now, based on, you know, all these factors here, and the crypto reserve also being a factor to it as well, and volatility of crypto, and it being more like a stock market and tokenization, all that sort of stuff as well. I think personally, this is also what some of the Casper holders also understand and or believe as well. You can see here from victor.cas, 1 year ago, Casper's inactive supply for, you know, the 1 year holding was 15%, and now we're above 30. So while a lot of people are dumping right now, people are very, very, you know, they're losing conviction, if you will. You can see majority of the holders right now are either smaller bag holders who haven't got much capital, which again, is, I'm not slandering you by being a smaller bag holder at all. I'm just stating those who've got smaller capital. They're the ones who are seemingly selling. And equally as those who are, you know, less than a year or year supply holders. The ones who people have over a year, they're barely moving their bags at all. At most, they're probably desizing. But they're not selling, like, their whole position. 2% of Casper's have never moved in over 3 years, and it's rising. So the OGs and early adopters know the real value of Casper. You know, there's a benefit if you get in early, of course. I wish I was in that early. I'd be, you know, laughing all the way to the bank if I was that early, knowing I was holding something that 3 years ago, we'd already be up unfathomable amounts of money. But at the same time, even when I got in, I'm still convinced I'll be up unfathomable amounts of money. And that's because what Casper's building is so innovative. So again, building on the fact that why I think Casper could do very well this cycle, we got a lot of clips here, which I'll highlight most of them, not all of them, from the Casper, from the Crypto Expo event, to which at this event, Casper actually won a award for the best blockchain innovation. So it's been recognized in the space alongside, you know, 1inch who beat them out on INTBA last time, alongside institutions like Binance, Crypto.com, Gemini, and many, many more, OKX as well. All these sort of institutions that was in attendance, they won the best blockchain innovation. So it's been recognized by institutional leaders that they are the best right now, or have the best potential at least, which is a very big deal. So it's very close to this one here. This here, I think, is kind of proof of that statement anyways.
Of course, from Ethereum, spoke in multiple occasions about the Ghost protocol. That is a protocol that Vitalik thought of using to design the new smart contract system on Ethereum before they decided to turn to POS, proof of stake system. So you can actually search for Vitalik and Ghost, and you will see Vitalik quoting these results from Dr. Samlinsky and their teams. So the major point here is that maybe different from many's knowledge, but Kaspa has actually always been the academic basis and cornerstones of many popular chains technology people are using on a daily basis of today.
So, and this information, by the way, shout out to Captain Sats. He has showcased proof of that time and time again about the founders of the space, not just Ethereum Vitalik Buterin, also Charles Hoskinson of Cardano, also Ripple XRPs, also there's so many other projects that I'm struggling to even name right now. I think even AVAX as well. Ultimately, you can find proof on Captain Sats' page of every single, well, not every single, but majority of all the big cap projects who their protocols are built on the very foundation that Tom Polinsky has devised Casper. And Tom Polinsky has improved it. The other projects are derivatives of the Ghost, of the Phantom, of the Spectre protocols. Casper is building the Rust to improve from Golang to Rusty, and then you have Dag Knight being the final evolution of Ghost Dag that is going to be coming out later this year. This part here, I'm going to summarize just reading because that's a 5-minute clip. I'm not going to bore you with that, but this part here highlights that decentralization isn't just about speed. It's about real trust and fairness, yet many chains sacrifice it for convenience. Let's break it down. Tron and Sui, for example. A handful of supernodes control all transactions, trusting 14 to 20 people to act fairly forever. It is, purely about trust from these individuals. And while they may be trustworthy people, and they may be fine, there's so much power to give to such a small group of individuals. And take Solana, claims 50,000 TPS, but 2 out of third wasted on elections. So high validated costs, $20,000 a month, limit true decentralization. So Solana claims to have high TPS, yet we see it constantly go down for one. Congested, and not even just congested, just crash. And a lot of that speed is wasted from their inefficient technology. Ethereum's layer 2 strategy sounds good in theory, but in practice layer 2s are highly centralized beyond Ethereum's control. We mentioned this in a stream not so long ago where, the validators, out of the money that, is transacted and made on chain and whatnot, Ethereum make 10% back, and the validators and sequencers, they make the majority of that. If they only get 10% of it, that's ridiculously cheap. And then Arbitrum and L2 rollbacks. When L2s fail, they selectively roll back transactions to protect MEV traders, arbitrators, and liquidators, not real users. If your funds are stolen, no work for you. So ultimately, there's no comeback if you are screwed over. True decentralization, though, means no supernodes, no hidden gatekeepers, no selective rollbacks, and that's why Casper's different. Casper is being completely fair, open source, no rollbacks, decentralized in this truest form. And the problem is a lot of people don't understand the significance of this. They think all the other chains are perfectly fine, and while they have their benefits, they think they're fine, but in actuality, when you're seeing institutional level of adoption coming through, that's coming through this year and years to follow as well, when you see that coming through, these chains will be put to the test. And a lot of trust is likely going to be lost. Why do you think institutions are waiting for regulatory clarity before they get into the space? They need to have the law there saying, if you screw me over, we're coming for you and we put lawsuit after lawsuit on your head. They're trying to constrain them to make sure they can get what they want. But Casper doesn't have that issue. And equally, it'll be faster enough, if not faster than other chains, to prove that it should be that chain that should be utilized by institutions. We got two that I will be playing here very momentarily as well. Actually, I won't play two. I'll play this one here from OKX. This one I'm kind of confused about, if you will. This is an interview. These both here are regarding exchanges. This one's regarding the BitGet Global COO, Chief Operating Officer, who basically just talked about the requirements for a listing and what it takes to get listed. To which I'm not going to cover the video. You can watch it for yourself. I'll leave a link in the description chat, also my homepage as well. I'll leave a link to that in my community, or even retweet it on my Twitter, so you go follow me there if you want to find out. But this video just basically talks about BitGet and their listing process. But the reason I'm not covering those because Casper's already listed on BitGet, so that's not really a problem I need to cover. Currently you see 9% volume going through that and 8% on Bybit, so high volumes going through these two exchanges is good to see. Obviously volume's still quite low, but high volume in those two exchanges at least is good to see. Of course Kraken is still lackluster, but that's fine. We expected that much. But this one here for me is what I'm a bit confused about. This is the general manager of OKX, who highlights their reasoning for their requirements to get listed as well. This is what I'm confused about here, so listen very close to this one as well.
Get in touch with our listing team, send in the application. The process itself I cannot fully disclose, but we do have a listing committee that's specifically geographically based. So in Europe, since we have different regulatory and compliance rules than the other jurisdictions, we have to comply with that. We have the MiCA license, so it's also important to make sure that we all of the white paper elements that are required under the legislation are also present in the project. But overall, it's a mix of the interest of the community, how much people have been asking for the token, how popular it is, if it's compliant with the current regulations, and if there's enough liquidity for it to manage tight spreads in the order book.
See, that's what confused me with OKX, right? Because he rattled off a load of reasons at the end there. Good community, high demand, liquidity, compliant regulations. Casper is a fair launch decentralized proof of work. So it's compliant regulations in that regard. It's like Bitcoin. The community has been asking for OKX for years, since the KEF, even longer than the KEF was constructed, which is about a year ago now. It happened in March last year, I believe. Then they also mention about liquidity, which Casper, I mean, they got to build up their own liquidity themselves. That's the only shortcoming. Casper, OKX may not have enough liquidity for Casper because they have to buy it themselves. So there's no reason to my understanding why OKX not listed Casper, but we understand that much already. They know we believe and know they'll list in due time is when they have liquidity and when the markets are right. Which right now, seemingly, the markets are definitely not right for listings in that regard, at least if not paying for it. But maybe the day is upon us very, very soon. The next massive update, game-changing update here coming for Casper is Crescendo. The Crescendo testnet 10 release will be happening. It's already happened yesterday evening. The activation is already set to approximately March 6th, around 6:30 UTC, which if I'm not mistaken, that means, I think that is 7:30 my time. That's normally about half an hour before we go live typically. So that'll be about half an hour before we go live. That we should be seeing the activation, and then hopefully, therefore, tomorrow I can state in my stream, we are now going through hard fork on the mainnet. We are now waiting for the mainnet version release and the hard fork. That's hopefully what I can say starting tomorrow. We're looking for the hard fork now happening, which is very, very big. The Crescendo is now merged. I think even Casper Silver either recently did or is doing a live showcase of the testnet 10 bps element, which is pretty cool. Shout out to him, of course. So yeah, you can testnet 10 upgrade to 10 bps is now live. You can download it here. I even see Casper Frogman, shout out to him once more, who's currently running testnet 10 to help the new testing of 10 bps before the mainnet launch. Love that, my man. Keep locked in. And the Crescendo hard fork is very important for Casper, and this is what it is and why it matters. Those who may be unaware, ultimately Casper is preparing for a major upgrade called Crescendo hard fork. This marks a key movement, or moment even, for the project as it aims to dramatically improve network performance and scalability. But what is it, and why is it important? Well, Crescendo hard fork is a significant upgrade to a blockchain network that introduces new rules and features, and in Casper's case, the Crescendo hard fork is focused on increasing the network speed, and currently Casper's at 1 BPS, it will be 10 BPS, and this upgrade is part of Casper's broader vision to become the most scalable, decentralized, and high-performance proof-of-work blockchain in the world. Right now it already is, but it's the highest performance platform, layer 1 in the world. Crescendo is important because this upgrade is more than just a technical milestone. It directly impacts the network's ability to handle more activity and users without compromising speed or security. It's a flat upgrade. There's no downside to Crescendo. Besides you having to... The only downside is you being forced to stop using Golang, which is outdated. You know, imagine it's like you have an Apple... Have an Apple iPhone 12 or whatever that. That's what you currently have. Crescendo forces you to upgrade to 16. It's jarring, I imagine, if you prefer the old stuff, you don't want to get a new one, but that's all it is to it. You know, there's no downside otherwise to it. The key benefits of Crescendo include fast transactions with short confirmation times, high scalability to support growing network usage, which will happen in due time with more adoption, and strong performances that prepares Casper for future adoption and use cases like smart contracts. That is going to be happening very, very shortly afterwards. There's already talk about Incurred Labs, I think, being the current front runner of releasing smart contracts on Casper and a testnet by the end of this month, and smart contracts coming out months, 2 or 3 months after that, if not even earlier than that. The smart contract might come out even before summer with Incurred Labs. In short, Crescendo brings Casper closer to fulfilling its goal of supporting real-world payments and decentralized applications to a global scale. It's a very, very big deal, and it's just a starting step. We've still got a lot more coming for Casper. We're going to see a supply shock happening very, very soon. No one's talking about this very much right now, but we can see right now that we are currently in the countdown of only 8 hours away to the next emission decrease. We'll be seeing 62 Casper rewards, meaning it's going to be even harder to mine it, which means the miners are going to be struggling more so. Right now, the hash rate's come down a little bit. Miners are making profit on Casper to mine right now. Is very, very hard, but with 10 BPS, solo miners in particular, they'll make even more money because you're going to see more blocks being, released at one moment in time. More confirmation, so you can mine and hit more blocks with 10 BPS. So that could hopefully bring more hash rate back and, more liquidity and then more adoption back to Casper. That could also help rise its price. As the supply dwindles faster and faster, almost at 90%, basically 90% right now, we're near a supply short where the demand's going to rally so high and the supply not be able to keep up. As Soka Data here states, Casper is an alt that's heavily on my radar. They've quietly been cooking, and when alt season finally arrives, I feel like it had the potential, a strong potential, to make an explosive move to the upside. And I completely agree. And I understand why. Because all the hash rate is very, very strong, and the mining is just getting smaller and smaller. The supply is getting smaller and smaller. Now, I have, almost out of time today. I'm going to highlight a few more factors here before answering questions very quickly. And then make sure you stay tuned to the video I'm going to be releasing later today on Casper, which will be talking more about the potential of this being the end of the bull cycle, the last bull cycle, and therefore Casper's last chance at cheap value. So go check that out later on. But the other updates here, some of them are good for crypto, some of them are a bit upsetting. This one here for Casper is a bit upsetting. Project update here from Beyond the Blockchain, the initiative that I was focusing on making a documentary for Casper. They have now decided to discontinue the documentary because they weren't able to secure sufficient funding to meet their initial goals. Now, some are very, very upset about this. Just saying, why don't you just focus on doing it on YouTube instead of trying to get on Netflix? Screw funding, just make one anyways. And yeah, I mean, I even call them unprofessional as well, because they did release a trailer, to be fair, building up hype, and then just say, oh, we're not doing it anymore. Understand the frustration with that. The good news is they are going to be refunding everybody who did contribute and try to fund. So they are going to be paying people back, so that's not a problem. It's quite frustrating, of course, but they're not going to take your money, right? My only hope is that, they do explain the reason actually why here. They explain, ultimately it comes down to the fact that the market is just terrible, and as a result, therefore, no one's interested in Casper right now, and as a result, therefore, they're just not getting the funding. No one's looking at Casper. No one's looking at crypto as much, really. Particularly Casper. Casper comes down so heavily. The port's just not there right now. They tried to revise their format, longer shooting time, reduce budget, but they just couldn't do anything. It would the impact of the prices had too much of an effect on the community as a whole. All I can believe is that hopefully they'll come back in the future. I think the documentary is it's a nice thing. I don't think it's like a necessity, if I'm honest. I think it's a nice thing to bring more adoption and understanding of what Casper's actually trying to build. And it might also be how you have the kns.cas domain thing, where, it's encrypted and it can't be removed ever again. I'd love to have a moment in time where the documentary was released, and that was the very starting point of Casper's worldwide adoption on Netflix, on Amazon, and other mainstream platforms. So hopefully it'll come back with a market reverse as well, but right now the fund is just not there. But at the same time, as I highlighted earlier, the smart money and smart people, they are watching, and they are watching Casper, increasingly bit by bit. Casper is going to change the world of what's coming out. Smart contracts is going to be a huge factor that's only going to be just that much better and that much more innovative following 10 BPS is coming out very shortly. Speaking of which, the live that I wanted to watch, I think a day or two ago, that didn't happen because Twitter went down, with blockchain and banter, with Igor Lab Smart Contract Talk, is now happening tomorrow, around the time that we normally stream at 8. So I'm in a split decision right now. Either I stream very early before this live, but that like an hour before, but that therefore means that I'm going to be clashing with the activation of 10 BPS, which I could probably cover it midstream, but there's a chance I may not miss it. I may miss it, or I do it later. I have to figure that out tomorrow. So stay tuned and keep an eye on the announcements channel on the community here, while disclose when I plan to go live that day. In regards to crypto news, real quickly as well, BlackRock here says if every millionaire in the United States asked their financial advisor to get them one Bitcoin, there would not be enough. Once more highlighting that there's very scarce supply for Bitcoin in general. So it's a depreciate. It's going to keep going up in value as time goes on. There's more people in the world that is actually Bitcoin available, so the price is going to have to keep going up as adoption keeps growing more and more. And equally here, we know there's a summit happening on Friday, the Crypto Summit. Michael Saylor will be in attendance, of course. And we're going to hopefully find more out in due time. But according to this post of Eleanor Terrett, Saylor will be on Fox Business tomorrow with Liz Clayman, who was the one who we saw John Deaton here with earlier, I believe. And he'll be talking about the White House Crypto Summit, the proposed strategic crypto reserve, and all things Bitcoin. So that does coincide with one of my beliefs. When I stated here that they're going to be talking about Bitcoin reserve strategy here, it's going to be more than just that. It's also going to be the crypto reserve strategy as a whole. which again is another reason why I don't think this bull cycle is not going to be a typical massive dump afterwards. It could be. I'm not financial advice, my speculation, but my speculation and my belief is that we'll see it rally up massively in the cycle. Assets will outperform a lot of people's expectations. I'm playing conservative just because of what I do, but I have a moon bag just in case. And then when we see it start correcting, it may not correct as heavy as we want to either. When Casper goes back to what he says, everyone will be crying, why didn't I buy the dip? Pretty much, that's what everyone does. You know, everyone's fading Casper right now, understanding because the price is bad. There's been a lot of people right now have even switched from being a Casper believer and holder to a Casper holder, but they just start to hate the project because it's not going up. Those people are either just hating it because it's what's popular to do right now to get clicks, or they're hating it because they actually just don't like it anymore and they want to get out, but they want to take out a loss. So they're waiting for the price to go back up to 20 cents where they got in and then take. But for me, yeah, they will be crying about it. But what can you do, right? And yes, as Diddy Hunt, imagine $1 being the same. Casper peaked 5 bill market cap 2 years ago, or 2 years in. Bitcoin was 1 bill 4 years in. We are early. Again, very true. Although the market is different now, we are seeing faster adoption of crypto happening now. So, but fundamentally speaking, yes, Casper is growing quickly, and we are still very early indeed. That Lobo post on X going into the rabbit hole about some Polinsky being Satoshi Nakamoto is pretty convincing. I don't think he will ever confirm it, but it was an interesting read. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it. I haven't read it in too much detail because fundamentally for me, I don't think it's that. I'm not really bothered by it personally, but you know, I did see that people wanted me to cover it in a bit more detail, which I might do in the future because it is an interesting, you know, rabbit hole to go down, a conspiracy. But I don't think he'll confirm it either. And if he did, I don't think it matters because the people who like, there's no unless he can just show, here's my wallet with the seed phrase that holds the Bitcoin as Satoshi Nakamoto, he can't prove it, or at least he can say it, but like, no one's going to believe him. I don't think it's worthwhile him doing that anyways. You know, I think Bitcoin does have the benefit of not knowing who the actual founder is. And I think, I'm saying that I haven't got a problem with some Polinsky, of course, being the founder for Casper. I haven't got a problem with that at all. But yeah, I mean, if anyone is going to be some Polinsky, or Satoshi Nakamoto, for me, it would be some Polinsky. But for me, I don't really need to know who he is. Like when people made that massive, you know, clickbait post about Satoshi being revealed and ended up being, I don't even know who it was. I don't even know who it was. They revealed some guy. I didn't bother. I didn't listen to it. I didn't care. Because I was like, okay, another speculative post about who Zablinski is. I don't care either way. Nothing against the man. He's a titan, unknown, you know, ghost in this space. But he's a titan. But I don't feel the need to know some Polinsky, Satoshi Nakamoto is. You know, that's just me personally though. But it's interesting rabbit hole. I do agree. Bitcoin and Casper were built to work properly in a trusted environment, not requiring a third party like Solana, Ripple, Hyper, Sui, Ethereum, and so on. If it's proof of stake, it's proof of garbage. I mean, I do agree to an extent. I think there is value in proof of stakes in the regards of, you know, money to be made. I don't think they're the future, obviously, but I think there's value to be made in some proof of stakes because I see they can make me money. That's why I hold other assets besides just Casper and Bitcoin. That's why I made a video on XCM, because I see there is potential of that because as much as proof of stake is targeting institutional markets and it's got partnership with Visa and Citibank and also Justin Sun and HTX. So it's got some significant partnerships, it's got a lot of building for it. So I see this value in it, you know. But for me it'd be like a short-term bag and a pump and dump type thing, personally. That's if I was to hold it. But again, I'm still weighing. I'm not sure I'm going to get into it just yet. But that's why I made a video on XCN. I might make more in the future as well, because XCN seems to have some very big announcements coming out for it as well. I saw a post about XCN earlier today, actually, and I think that's quite interesting. Casper's tilting Bitcoin news today. That is quite interesting as well. Wow, look, the adoption for Casper going up more and more. You can't deny Casper's growing more in adoption. Time to add more Casper, you know it. I think Genza might have been onto something, honestly. These are all crypto companies selling securities and wanted a proof of work coin at Bitcoin. I mean, Genza didn't want Bitcoin either. Genza just hated crypto. I do think he was right in, you know, stopping these other companies from taking advantage of the space, but he didn't like crypto in general. He was against giving BlackRock the ability to file ETFs for Bitcoin until his hand was forced. Because it's BlackRock, but otherwise he didn't want to do it. The Buffalo Series says, yes, you enjoy these streams, doing these streams every single day. Leave a like, share, subscribe for more. Right now at 25 likes, make 30. If that would be massive, please, thank you very much. Did we forget about reduction today? No, we did not. Reduction is 8 hours away, which would actually put it tomorrow for me, because it's currently 5:20 p.m. where I'm at. So I put it tomorrow for me about 1 a.m. But yes, reduction is happening, and that'll be another key factor. Not a lot of people are talking about it. It's quite interesting. Crescendo news and no pump. I mean, market's not ready for it, and it's not it's not on the mainnet. The mainnet could cause a pump. The testnet is, it's. I think right now people are frustrated with Casper I think right now, unfortunately, community sentiment is if you don't get an exchange listing, they don't care, which I think is wrong. But everyone thinks we need exchange listings right now. We need Binance, we need OKX, which I think is incorrect. That's what everyone believes. I think that's what everyone believes right now. So that's what they're waiting for. On the check-in where I'm Mr. Mar guy. I mean, it's because it's 4:30 when I started streaming, and I think where he's based in America, it's extremely. I think it's like 4 a.m. where he's at right now, so he's probably asleep. I know I'm going to get grilled later in my community. He's like, oh, I see what you did an early stream again to avoid me. I see how it is. It's going to start trolling me harder again. I'm sick of it. Honestly, I'm sick of it. Oh, I love the guy. After Casper gets more adoption, I feel like they'll make the documentary. I agree so as well. Miles is running on the wheel on Jay's base, but how do you think Jay's miners are ran? Honestly, yeah. Have you seen how some of PC is? He's not running hard enough. You know what I mean? Do you believe the next major catalyst besides the crypto summit would be that the Fed have it in store? Will the Fed have it in store? Potentially. I think the crypto summit will be quite interesting, but there are so many catalysts coming out. And again, I have the important updates in my community for what's coming out regarding, unemployment data coming out very, very soon, more inflation data coming out very, very soon, potential rate cuts coming out soon, which is seemingly on the cards now again, crypto summit, and much, much more, again, is coming on. What's up, Jose, my man? How's everyone doing? Just tuning in, currently working. Keep the grind up, my brother. Love to hear that. I'm doing very well, actually. I'm meant to be busy later with family. I'm meant to be leaving now, so I've got to wrap up very quickly. Yeah, I'm chilling right now. I'm going to be releasing a video later today regarding a theory of mine about why Casper is the last one to buy chip Casper. It may come down more so, but in the sense of the last bull run for Casper, as I'm not going to have a proper bull run ever again. It's going to just be going up from here sort of thing. Don't make you tune in for that later as well. There's money to be made, sure, but I'm not saying there isn't. There are a ton of people out there who look at Pinecoin. I have people who actually, I have acquaintances who made money through Pinecoin and mining it. So, if you make money through it, then props to you. End of the day, right, making money isn't strictly about just finding the best investment possible and holding it for life. Sometimes it's about just finding a speculative asset that has a lot of momentum and FOMO behind it and just holding onto it while the momentum's there and the adoption's there. XRP is an example for that. It's got adoption right now, a lot of it. And strong massive community as well. I hold it because I understand what that community could do for Casper, for XRP. And then I've got my hedging in Casper, my biggest hedge in Casper, of course, because I actually want to hold something that's for the future as well. And I see it get a lot of adoption in this cycle as well, But I see there's other ways to make money with other assets that you can look more short term. Oh, Mikey, my man, it's been a minute. Thank you. Wow, another 20 Canadian donation. That is huge. I appreciate it very much, man. Thank you. Great stream. Being ill, so staying in the background. I'm sorry to hear, my brother. I really, really am. Hopefully you get well soon. Rest up. Not time to be ill right now. Time to grind. But yeah, hopefully you get well soon, my man. And thank you very much. I wish you the best. And hopefully you're enjoying the daily content. Be doing this as much as I can do, And yeah, appreciate it very much, my brother. As Krypton says here, other than though they are, I agree, they are pretty much trash. But again, whether you think it's trash or not is by the bias. Ultimately, just comes down to if you can make money on it. That's all. People don't necessarily invest into. For example, I just say Tesla, just to give it. A lot of people right now don't like Elon Musk, so therefore they don't want to invest in Tesla. They think it's terrible. But if they see if they understand that Elon Musk is in good power position with Trump, therefore it's going to go up in value, they'll invest into it. You haven't got to like something to invest into something. As long as you see monetary value in it, you'll do it. That's ultimately what this space is about. Casper is something I see a lot of value in. So that's, again, for me, a long-term holding. I'll make money this cycle, I'll make money that cycle, I'll keep making money. That's my personal belief, at least. But then I do understand the benefits of making money through other assets. It's a short-term goal because I see they've got the adoption and enough FOMO around it for the time being to see value. That's why, again, I spoke about XCN in my video here, because there's a lot of FOMO around it for what they're building, the community behind it, and the team behind it. The team behind it is similar to XRPs and XLMs, or have connections to that. So maybe it could be a hedge, a very small diamond bag that could rally up 10x. Speculative again. If you want to find out more about that, I made a video about it, giving a massive detail about it, the history behind it, the recent updates and whatnot, and where it could potentially go from here, the belief about where it can rise to in value. I'm going to start doing this channel more so as well. I'm going to talk about Casper, of course, the biggest bag in my holding. I love Casper, talk about the most, but I'm going to start talking about other assets as well to give people a bit more of a perspective of the market in general. And again, that's not me saying I don't like Casper. It's still my biggest bag. It's not going to change, but again, I haven't got to like a project necessarily to hold it. I have to understand what I'm holding. That's all it is. Understand XRP is centralized and it has problems in that regard and it's got shortcomings, but understand that the adoption in itself and the FOMO is enough to make it pump in value. I'm currently trying to make as much surveys to get coins up to get more Casper. Keep it up, only my man. Love to hear it. Keep going. I'm here for the vision of Satoshi. I'm not here to make money on poison of the space. Again, however you want to hold crypto is perfectly fine. I'm not trying to, implement my ideals onto you. That's not my goal. My goal is just to explain to you my ideals and my thought process. And then also the news and my thought process on that. But again, I'm just a content creator, Do your own research at your own discretion and just ultimately, do your own research at your own discretion. It's your decision. You can use me as a template to understand where I'm coming from, but your verdict's your own opinion, and it should be the most important one. I think long term, becomes anyone worth holding. I similar to what Buffalo theory here. I disagree. I think the crypto market in general will never be the same on the bull run. That's basically what the video later is going to be about as well. The video later today is going to be about the similar thing as well. That after this cycle, it's not going to be the same. I don't think it will be either because institutional adoption is going to be here. I'm trying to make it a reserve as well. So it's just going to keep going up from here potentially. Why are you laughing at me for making some surveys? I respect the grind. I respect the hustle. That's what it is. It caught me off guard. That's what it did. It caught me off guard. I'm not laughing at you, Andy. Never you. I respect the hustle massively. I appreciate it very much. You do a lot of very strong work. I see you're a grinder. And you're also young as well. I know that much, so I respect it heavily. I also got into crypto when I was just young as you as well. But that being said, that's going to be it for today's stream. I'm very late now to see my family. And I'm going to get a grinning for that. Hope you're on a very, very good day. I'll be back again tomorrow. You'll find out what time the stream is going live. I'll make an announcement about it. I'll release a video later today as well, so tune in for that as well. If you enjoy though, leave a like, share, subscribe for more. If you want to know more about crypto and other market sentiment, then go check out the free community. Link in the description, in the chat, also my homepage here. And if you want to be even more locked in, knowing a lot more about the institutional sentiment and trading alerts and everything else that we do in this community as well, in the executive community here, come join the executive community. You have a 7-day free trial. Links in the description, chat, also my homepage as well. And a lot more to come, ultimately, a lot more to come. So have a great day. Have a great day, good evening, and good night. And yeah, I'll see you all the next one. Take care now.